Hello, a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to the webinar tonight. And my name is Richard, and I'm your host and organizer for tonight. And before we start, if you're here for the very first time, would you please search for Passive Crypto Wealth in the Telegram app and join our Telegram channel so that you can be kept posted of interesting crypto webinars and updates. All right, so before we begin, I'd like to just do a quick check with you. If just a quick poll. So if you had invested $100 10 years ago into this strange concept thing called Bitcoin, how much would it be worth 10 years later? You know, so you don't have to tell me the answer, but just have the number in your mind. If you had invested $100 into Bitcoin 10 years ago, how much will you have 10 years later, which is end of let's say end of 2020. All right. So now you have your number in your mind already. Let me review to you the answer. Here we go. Right? So if 10 years ago you have invested in $100 into Amazon, Apple, Visa, Microsoft, and so Facebook, and you can see how much is it worth 10 years later in end of 2020. But if you had invested $100 into Bitcoin, it will be worth $9.2 million. Now that's crazy, right? So did you invest in Bitcoin 10 years ago? Well, I didn't. So today, we will see if we can still, learn something that will help us to multiply our crypto wealth so that, 5 to 10 years later, when we get together again, we can compare notes. All right. So let me continue. Okay, please allow me to introduce to you this gentleman. His name is Howard. Let me see. Harry Markowitz. Oh, quite hard to pronounce. Now, he is a Nobel Prize winner in 1952, and he won the Nobel Prize for economics for a very important concept that fund managers today are still using. Do you know what concept is that? Okay, he's invented this phrase called diversification. Okay, he called it diversification is the only free lunch in the financial world. And in the more technical term, it's called modern portfolio theory. You can Google that and learn more about what is this all about. Now, why do I share about this thing called diversification, right? Because that is the only thing we can do to reduce our risk. So traditionally, we know that we can diversify into different asset classes such as stocks, properties, bonds, gold, options, forex, so many of these traditional assets, right? So when there is now today a new asset class that we can diversify into, and it is called crypto. Okay, so am I the only one that share about diversification to crypto? No, because there are also other more credible people who talk about diversifying into crypto. For example, this US Federal Reserve Governor, Kevin Walsh, said that if you are under 40 this year, then Bitcoin is your new goal. And this former Canadian Prime Minister lists Bitcoin as a possible future reserve currency. Now, we know that US dollar is the reserve currency of the world today, but he is saying that in addition to US dollar, Bitcoin can also be another reserve currency, right? So Bitcoin has also captured the attention of many institutions, including publicly listed institutions. For example, this is called Grayscale. They are an investment firm, fund house, and at the end of last year, they have $20.2 billion worth of Bitcoin under their fund. All right. So all these are a bit of more on the overseas acceptance of Bitcoin. But how about Singapore? Right? In Singapore, late last year, there was a very big news in the world of crypto, right? So the big news is that our national bank, DBS, have also embraced crypto, and they are launching a full service digital exchange for crypto. Now, I won't go into the details. You can Google that and read about it, right? And I'm sure they have done their due diligence before they embark on launching this service. And their service will include being able to buy and sell Bitcoin, Ether, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP with fiat money, which is SGD, US dollar, Hong Kong dollar, and yen. Right now, the only issue now with that service is that they are rolling it out for institutional investors and accredited investors only. Okay, but I'm sure the day will be coming that instead of savings accounts, and some nowadays also have gold accounts, right? I heard UOB have gold accounts. Soon enough, I think we will start to have crypto accounts with the banks. Okay, so I look forward to that day. Right, so again, very important in all the asset classes that we have, including crypto, it is not to put in all our egg into crypto, it is to diversify, okay, to have a bit, diversify a bit into crypto as an asset class, in addition to all the traditional asset classes that we have. And it is with this a concept that my partner and I, who have co-founders of Wealth and Joy, decided to launch a special interest group under the Wealth and Joy umbrella called Passive Crypto Wealth, where we will focus on crypto-related information and webinars so that we can grow our crypto wealth together. Okay, so for those who just joined us, if you have not already joined our Telegram channel, please look for Passive Crypto Wealth in Telegram and join our channel so that we can keep you posted of interesting crypto information as well as webinars. Okay, so with that, I'd like to cover this very important thing called the disclaimer. Now, you are responsible for your own profits and losses. The speaker's opinion are their own and does not represent Wealth and Joy or Passive Crypto Wealth's opinion. Wealth and Joy, Passive Crypto Wealth, its owners, partners, and sponsors are not responsible nor liable for your losses. Wealth and Joy, Passive Crypto Wealth events are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as advice. And when you're in doubt, please seek professional help. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'd just like to share that I'm sure you will have questions later on for our speaker later on. Now, please look for the chat box on your screen. If you are watching this on the desktop, then look for the chat box on the bottom right. And if you are watching this on a mobile devices, then please scroll up or down to look for the chat box so that you can type in the questions anytime during the presentation. But we'll let our speaker finish his sharing first, then I will move on to the question so that I can post it to him. All right, so feel free to type in the question into the chat box anytime during the webinar. Okay, so without further ado, also very importantly, for those of you who have registered for our webinar, later on, I will also be sharing with you how you can access this small little token free gift from our speaker, Chris, on the Top 10 Crypto Guide PDF. Okay, so without further ado, tonight we're going to learn from Chris Long, an expert crypto analyst who have triple-digit returns in his crypto portfolio, and he will share with us how to ride the crypto trend safely and profitably. So, Chris, are you there so that I can hand over the stage to you?
Test. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, fantastic. All yours now, bro.
Okay, so hello everyone. What honor it is to be invited here. Thank you for coming in and spending the next 69 minutes with me. I'm not sure if I can see you guys or if you guys are hearing me fine. So I just want to quickly just check in with y'all. If y'all can hear me fine and if y'all can see me okay, can you go to the chat group and type in good? Yeah. Let me know that you guys are here. Let me know that you can hear me so that I know that everyone here is is connected. You can hear me okay, and you can do that by typing good in the chat group. All right. So let me kickstart by doing this. Yeah. So over here, this is today I want to talk about cryptocurrency masterclass. So it is essentially an introduction to what Bitcoin blockchain is all about, and just want to share a little bit of my experience. I have been in crypto for the last 4 years, right? So I just thought I want to share a little bit about what I've learned being in the space. And I thought it'd be good if I can find out a little bit more from you guys, first of all. For example, what brings you here today? Y'all are going to spend about 90 minutes with me, and you have taken time off your busy schedule, or taking time away from family to be here. I'd like to find out what actually brought you here, right? Like, what do you want to learn? For some of us, it could be a quest of knowledge. For some of us, it could be something more pragmatic, like you want to find out about how to make more money in returns in terms of crypto. So type that in the chat group as well, and I can have a bit of sensing about what brings you here today. Let me continue my presentation first. And one of the reasons, or one of the push factors or catalysts about why cryptocurrency has actually garnered a lot of attention recently is because of articles such as this. Like places like Forbes would say how one of the world's richest person is backing Bitcoin, Li Ka-shing, how a teenager has become a millionaire by investing $1,000 in Bitcoin. There's also been posts of how Tesla has been buying Bitcoin as part of their treasury. Guys in PwC, which is one of the big four accounting firms, the directors leave to join crypto exchanges, and how the CFA, which is one of the most important accreditation in finance, they are actually adding crypto and blockchain topics into their syllabus as well, right? So these are the various articles that have been published over the past few years, and that has really gained and given quite a lot of attention to crypto. Okay, so I'm just going to come back to this page because I just want to see some of your replies in terms of the chat. Oh, okay, I am a little bit new at using this platform. Okay, so I do apologize if it gets a little bit messy at times, but I just want to have a quick chat on what you guys are looking to learn, so that I roughly can frame what to share as well. So if any of you are watching this on recording, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to see what you guys type lah. But I still hope that you can learn from some of the questions that the rest of the guys are asking. Now, before I go into Bitcoin and investing in crypto and all that, I just want to introduce a few of the investment theses that I have when I purchase Bitcoin. So one of these theses is that I want to be someone who invests in change. In the world, there's two kinds of changes. One is cyclical, which means that things move in a cycle. Example, the weather. One moment it is wet, the moment it is dry. Of course, there's things like the economy as well. So in terms of the economy, it can either expand, right? Or it can contract. So color's a little bit off, but I hope you guys are able to see. So if you are someone who is able to basically identify when economies are expanding and when economies are contracting, you are someone who can trade quite well. Meaning to say, during times where the economy is expanding, you can basically buy what we call risk assets. Because these risk assets in a growing economy or a growing financial market will push your value up. In a contracting economy, right, where interest rates are or where the markets are slowing down, this is where people go risk off, and then the value of asset classes like bonds begin to go up. So this is where you can make some returns. But the biggest returns for me actually come from this thing called structural changes. So an example of a structural change is something like this. Yeah. Have you guys seen this before? Or how many of you have this at home? Can type in me. All right. So these are encyclopedias. Okay. These are encyclopedias. When I was in primary school, I used to use these encyclopedias to do my projects, right? But nowadays, the teenagers, the guys in school, do they still use encyclopedias to do their projects? Probably not. What is the thing that they actually use to find information? It's something called Google. So every time right now when we want to search for information, we want to learn something new, we usually turn to Google. And companies like Google, like Grab, like Amazon, these are companies that have wrote on the internet, and these are companies that have wrote on structural change. So you think about it, right now, whenever we want to search for stuff, we use Google encyclopedias. Right now, for Amazon, is in the midst of a structural change. When people want to buy stuff, a lot of us go online to make our purchases, to do transportation, or even buy food. We actually use an application like Grab. So does this mean that of creating structural change in the world? So over here, you can see for Amazon, 1997 is $1.73. Last week, it is $2,961. Meaning to say that ever since from 1997 till 2020, this company, if you invested in this company, it has basically given you more than 1,500x return, right? So if you put $1,000 in 1997, you will be a millionaire by 2020. Yeah, you know where I'm coming from? Now, at this juncture, I want to address one of the most commonly asked questions in crypto and in Bitcoin. And the question is Bitcoin a bubble, or is it in a bubble? So as of today, Bitcoin is about 50K. Last year at this timing, Bitcoin was maybe about $8,000, right? So it has gone up by about 500, 600% in a year. The question on everyone's mind is it a bubble? And I would say potentially, yeah. I can tell you very honestly that Bitcoin might be in a bubble right now. For me personally, I think that there are some signs that we are midway through a cycle, maybe even towards the end. So I do want you to come in with that knowledge. Is that an issue though? So let me use Amazon as an example. Amazon in 1997 went from $1.73. Within 2 years, it went to $93, right? So this is almost a 50x return in 2 years, 5,000%. From 1999, from 1997, 99, 50x. From 1999 to 2001, another 2 years difference. It actually dropped by 90%. So from $93, it fell to $9. Meaning to say, over here, this is a bubble. But my question is this. Assuming or imagine you can go back in time, if you can buy at the top of this bubble, and you can buy Amazon at $93.75, do you think it's a good deal or a bad deal? Would you buy Amazon at $93.75? Of course, hindsight is 2020, and knowing that it's going to go to 2,900, $93 definitely seems like a good deal to you. However, my point is not that. So the point that I'm trying to really make is that in 1997 to 2001, there was a bubble that burst. There was a bubble that burst around here as well. There's one that burst here. There's one that burst here. And potentially, even right now, Amazon might be a bubble that is waiting to burst. So As to the question of whether Bitcoin is in a bubble or not, the answer is maybe. But in terms when people ask me, does it matter? For me, maybe not so much, because it's not just Bitcoin or cryptocurrency that can potentially fall into this bubble territory. Any asset class can be in bubble territory. You can do properties, it could be a bubble. You do stocks, it could be a bubble. You do even bonds, right? In certain market movements, they can eventually become bubbles as well. So when I look into buying Bitcoin, I'm not too concerned. I mean, I still care. Of course, I prefer to not buy bubbles. But in terms of the long-term movement of Bitcoin, that's what I'm more concerned about. Is Bitcoin a structural change? And is there any investment theses behind it? Rather than me trying to find out whether or not I'm in a bubble. So that's how I approach Bitcoin. And I personally, of course, have reaped the benefits because I rode up a bubble in 2017, then 2018 it burst, and along the way I've continued to accumulate, and today we are now entering into the next cycle. So it has worked out quite well. Now, before I go on, just allow me to quickly introduce myself. My name is Chris. I used to work as an investment banker in the debt capital markets. So what we do is we help people issue bonds. In terms of my education, I graduated with a Master's of Applied Finance from SMU. And I was fortunate to have gotten a scholarship during my time there. This is me and Columbia Trade Leader COO. And these are some of the bonds that I've done. So I've been part of the team who helped issue €500 million for HDB. I've also done this €500 million launch for UOB as well. So you can say that I am from a fixed income background, but in terms of my education and interest before that, it was a lot in equities. And right now, I am in alternative assets, which is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I used to work here, Ocean Financial. One of the reasons why I left the industry is because in investment banking, the money is really good, the prospects really good, but hours are really long. So I used to work from 8 a.m. and I go home at 2 a.m. So even though it was a great prospect, I really didn't have a lot of freedom, and I was searching for financial freedom. So I came across crypto and Bitcoin, did my research, made money from it. And one day, my friend said maybe I should consider starting a business teaching people how to invest into cryptocurrency. So that is what I did as well. I started a company teaching crypto. So I've done talks in big conferences, few hundred people, smaller classes, 40, 50 people. In some of my media appearance include newspaper in Malaysia, in Singapore, Money 9.3 FM, and Channel 8 interviewed me as well. So that's just a little bit of a background for my professional life, as well as how I started teaching people how to invest in crypto. Here's one of the trades, the one I was talking about. I bought Bitcoin April 17, $890 during that time. Today it is 49,100. I have not sold any of the Bitcoin that I purchased in 2017. So right now it's up very decent. Annualized return is more than 400%. Yeah. So today I'll talk about 3 ingredients for success in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. This is garnered from the past 4 or 5 years of me investing, and I feel like these are the 3 things that would really ensure your success when it comes to cryptocurrency investing. And you don't have to be a computer geek, nor do you have to be a financial wizard to do this. It's going to be simple, practical, and profitable. All right. So let me begin by asking you guys this question. If you can explain Bitcoin in one sentence, how would you explain it? How would you explain Bitcoin in one sentence? Or in your impression, if you want to describe Bitcoin in one sentence, how would you describe it? Okay, so let me go to the chat and see if I'm able to see the things that you guys are typing. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I'll just let you guys spend some time to type. For me, what Bitcoin is is that I see it as digital gold. All right. The second investment thesis I have for Bitcoin, other than the fact that I feel that it is going to change the financial market, is this concept of scarcity. So one of the drivers of price, I would say, in terms of Bitcoin is this concept that it is very scarce. There's a total of 21 million in total supply of Bitcoin. Currently, 18 million is already circulating. Now, these Bitcoin come out from machines like this, and these are what we call Bitcoin mining rigs. It is handled and maintained by Bitcoin miners over here. So these machines, you can see them as the cloud servers, and they are basically maintaining the Bitcoin blockchain network. So the incentive for them to do so is that there will be this thing called the block reward. Roughly every 10 minutes, there is a reward that is given out to all the miners or to the miners that solve the equation. It starts out at 50 in the beginning. By 2012, it went to 25. By 2016, it's 12.5. Last year is 6.25. And by 2024, it'll be roughly 3.125. So what this means is that the supply that comes into market looks something like this. At the start, it's quite fast. Then it slows down. Then it slows down. Then it slows down. And then it slows down. So right now, roughly 18 million is out. And there's a maximum of 21 million that will ever be given out. So if I have to draw a line here, this is the amount of Bitcoin that is left to mine. About 10% left only. Okay? And this will take another 100 years to come out. So the supply is just going to come out slower and slower and slower. Yeah? So the miners also maintain the blockchain and keep it decentralized, distributed, and immutable. So you can go online and Google what each of these terms mean, but I won't be talking about that in this class. So at the end of the day, one of the investment theses that people really buy into is this concept of scarcity. Now, scarcity is not enough. Imagine if I give you a piece of paper and I sign my autograph on it. It is going to be the only one in the entire world. However, would you be willing to pay $20,000 for my signature? 100,000 for it? The answer is no. You need to have a use case for it as well. So today I want to talk a little bit about the use case of Bitcoin, which is in the world of remittance. Now, traditionally, when you do remittance, so this person here, let's call her Jane. She's in Singapore, okay? And the mom over here is in Vietnam. In the world of remittance, when you remit money overseas, this is the process. You first go to DBS, then you go to the money changer, then you go to Western Union. After this, you head over to the Vietnamese central bank. You go over to Vietnamese retail bank, and finally, you will send it over to your mom. So in the normal remittance, right, it's a little bit inefficient. What do I mean? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intermediaries in one simple transfer. The second thing about remittance is that the speed of it is a little bit limited. It takes at least 1 to 2 business days. Even in today's internet age, this is how long it takes. Number 3 is the cost. So I would say that if your amount is small, if it's a couple of $100 or 1,000, remittance is cheap. But if you're transferring a big amount, remittance can become costly. So if you send it to US, it costs you about 0.1%. If you send it to places like Afghanistan, India, I don't know, maybe to a country like Tibet, it can actually go up to 2, 3, 4, 5%. So it's a lot higher. But using 0.1% as a gauge, okay, if someone was to remit, for example, $1 billion over to the US, At 0.1%, they will be paying $1 million in terms of remittance fee. So it can get very costly. For Bitcoin, simple. Number one, there's only one intermediary. So in terms of efficiency, in terms of intermediaries, it's a little bit more efficient. Jane just needs a phone with an internet connection. Mom just needs a phone with an internet connection. She sends Bitcoin through the internet. It's distributed to the Bitcoin blockchain network, and the mom receives it. Secondly, it is fast. Unlike remittance, which requires 1 to 2 business days, a Bitcoin block can be done as fast as 10 minutes. Number 3 is the cost. For bigger amounts, it is cheap. So recently, biggest Bitcoin transaction. Someone actually moved $1.1 billion in Bitcoin last year. Worth this much. And eventually they paid $3.58 for a $1.15 billion transaction. So in terms of Bitcoin remittance in bigger amounts, it is actually cheaper than your traditional remittance fee. So this is what we call a use case for Bitcoin. One of the usefulness when it comes to Bitcoin. And it is also something that provides value to these particular asset classes. So you may say that, oh, but people are using Bitcoin to launder money. Is it really good? It's illegal, etc. And you're absolutely right. It is true that people are using Bitcoin to launder money. But do you know that people are also using US dollars to launder money? They're using renminbi as well. They're using Sing dollar. The fact that people use it to launder money doesn't mean that it is not valuable. People launder money using gold as well, or even oil. For me, I'm a pragmatic investor. If they use it to launder money, fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I care is there a usefulness to Bitcoin? And eventually, as an investor, will I get a higher return? So that's how I approach it. Maybe not very not very save the world kind of attitude, but I think for me, I use it in more of a pragmatic sense. So yeah, that is what I think about when I approach Bitcoin and crypto. And the second thing, or rather the third thing that I'm trying to imagine is, what is the adoption rate? Like, are people actually adopting crypto, adopting Bitcoin, and coming to the picture? So this is what happened in the last few years. Since 2017, countries like Japan and Russia, Korea, Australia, and even Singapore's MES as well, they have begun to move in to legitimize crypto, add it to their reserve bank, or even do projects like the Sing dollar on Ledger. China, Malaysia, Vietnam is also in the picture over the last few years. Smaller economies like Belarus, like Ghana, they are said to be putting 1% or some of their reserves into Bitcoin. Philippines as well wants to legalize Bitcoin as a security. In fact, what's interesting is that after that, the IRAs chimed in and said that they are not going to tax crypto transactions in Singapore. So after this, you see places like DBS, Trafigura, MAS, Temasek begin to have projects, right? They are developing blockchain trading platforms. They are developing prototypes for multi-currency payment. And I want you to observe something. In the early days, it is the countries that are coming in. After that, it was the government agency. After that, it is government-linked corporation. So it began at a very high level. Then it went to the agencies. Then it went to the government-linked corporations. And then most recently, private organizations like Tesla and PayPal. we can actually literally see the adoption that is happening right now as more and more people start to come into Bitcoin. Sorry, handwriting not good. I'm trying to say adoption. Okay, so this is a A. Yeah. So it is becoming more and more mainstream, and probably the next steps will be your retail investors. It will be your pension funds, the ones that are a little bit more low risk, or perhaps even your index funds. So right now, I want to share 3 ways that you can succeed in crypto without needing to be a computer geek. And you can learn this and do this before the mass market comes in. First thing that you need is that you need a system. And basically, or rather essentially, you need 3 systems. Okay. So over here, the first system that you need is a system on when to buy and sell Bitcoin. So imagine that today you haven't get started, you want to get started. How do you do it? How much of your portfolio do you put into crypto? Where do you enter? Where do you exit? What is your strategy when it comes to this? For this to make a little bit of sense, or for you to really have a bit of taste about what it's like, you can do this activity with me, okay? So you look into this. Right now the price is 2925, right? So wherever you are, you can type it in the chat, you can write it in your notebook, you can type it in your phone. I want you to tell me or think about whether this price is going to go up or this price is going to go down. Have a look at it. Write it down somewhere. If you want, you can write it in the chat. And kind of tell me if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down. Are you ready? So the answer is it went down. Now, from this point on, 2632, do you feel it's going to go up or do you feel it's going to go down? Okay, think about it a little bit. So I'm trying to make it real for you, okay? Think about whether or not it's going to go up, whether it's going to go down. Will you buy or will you sell? And the answer is it went down again. What about here? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? So answer is it eventually recovered. Now, the point of this mini exercise is for you to understand yourself. Had those things happen, imagine you're already trading or already investing. What would you have done, right? Jack Soldier says that, what is your methodology? If you cannot answer that question, you're actually not ready to be risking money in the markets. In the world of Bitcoin and crypto is especially important because in a single day, you can have something go up by 31%, and in a single day, you can have something go down by 38.85% as well. Volatility is very, very real in the cryptocurrency space. And you need to know how to manage that volatility. If not, it's just going to swing you around and cause you to make a lot of stupid decisions based on your emotion. So the first system that you need is that you need to think about how to buy and sell Bitcoin. Second is a system on how to choose alternative coins. So I want to begin by sharing a little bit about what an altcoin is. And basically, I view altcoin as a startup. Okay. So what exactly is a startup? Yeah, I'm going to pause and go back to the chat to see if you guys have happened to type anything. Because every time I do presentation, I actually can't really see you guys typing. Oh, very good. I see some of you all participating, writing up and down, up and down, up and down. Fantastic. So do you guys know what a startup is? Can you say yes? If you don't know what a startup is, type in no. Then I can explain a little bit. All right. So while waiting for you guys to type, I just want to share that altcoin investing is kind of like investing in startups. And there is more and more people who are not just investing in Bitcoin, but they're investing in all these various altcoins instead. Okay. So let's see. You don't know? Okay, so there are some no. Let me show you guys what a startup is. so this is the definition. It is basically a newly established business. A newly established business. So there's this famous quote, if you're ever having a bad day, remember in 1976, Ronald Wade sold 10% of his stake in Apple for $2,300, and today it's worth $136 billion. How did $2,300 become $136 billion? It's because in 1976, Apple is equals to a startup. It's true. So basically, when you invest in a startup, you can buy a huge stake for a very, very cheap price. And when this startup becomes successful, that stake will become worth a lot of money. So when you buy into altcoins, right, it is similar. These altcoins are basically startup companies, startup technology, startup blockchain code that is being written. So an example of how much a altcoin return is can be seen here. So imagine you put $1,000 in NAV. This is January 2017. Take a guess. 1 year later, January 2018, how much is like? Same thing. You can write it in the chat. You can write it in your notebook. Just try and guess or imagine if you're putting $1,000 in NAV, what would your return have been in 2018? And the answer is $87,437. And that is why people invest in altcoins. Because basically the return is very high in a very short period of time. The top performer for altcoins is NEM. So NEM, if we invest $1,000, by the end of by 1 year later, it will be worth $359,457. So that's the top performing altcoin in 2017. Now, if this altcoin investing is so profitable, why don't everybody make money from it? Why don't everybody do it? Well, I want to share with you some of the realities and challenge of altcoin investing. First, there was overexcitement in the market in 2017. It was a bubble that eventually burst. Second, there's too many altcoins to choose from. How many altcoins are there? More than 6,000 altcoins. So even if you decided that you want to put $1,000 in every altcoin, it doesn't make sense because you need $6 million to do it. So what you need is that you need a system to shortlist all the altcoins into the ones that are good. So for me, just some sharing. When I shortlist my altcoins, even in the bear market, so this is in 2019, which is the peak of the bear market, these altcoins perform strongly, even in bear markets. So $1,000 in SNX from 19 to 20, 2019, 2020, actually gave me a $27,000 return. So this went up 2,700% in 1 year. Now, I shared this in all my master classes from January 16 onwards. And you see that in January 16, the price of SNX is $1.20. Yeah? So today, whoops. Good question mark. Let's go into that later. Today, let's look at what the price of SNX is 1 year later. So right now, SNX trades at $20, $20.46 per coin. So from here, right, until this year, 1 year, it has actually basically gone up almost another 16x, which is 1,600%. Yeah, so this was a very, very good coin that was shortlisted and accumulated. Some other coins include 0x and Loom. So you can see I put in about 1,007 here, $500 here. 3 months later, it went from 1,007 to nearly 3,007 and 500 to 2,003. So it's a very good return in a very short time. Here, I want to take the chance to share a little bit of what I do. Now, first of all, $1,700, is this amount big or small? Do you find that these are big or small amounts? So the median income in Singapore is about $4,000. I would say that even 1,000 plus is decently small. So it's about 2 weeks of salary. When you come into altcoins, right, because it is startup investing, you never want to invest too much. You want to put in a small amount because you really never know whether or not they will go bust and they will go to zero. So this is what we call a high risk, high return play. Yeah. Every time it doubles or more, I will take out my capital and I will redeploy it later. So this is in 2018. Cosmos in 2018 as well was another coin that did really well. Put in 3,000 and it doubled. And in 2019, okay, this Cosmos from 2019. So in 2019, right, there was this phenomenon that came into the market. It's called the IEO. So for new coins or new token, they are created through these processes, ICO and IEO. So these processes, or rather these, how should I call it? These events are very, very good for flipping. Right, so you buy and then you flip straight away. So for example, this is an IO that I did. WRX bought it for 2 cents, 2.6 cents per piece. So I invested about $270. The moment it was listed, it immediately went up by 500%. Yeah. So I immediately sold half of it. So you can see over here, I sold half to take back my capital and to begin to invest in other stuff. So these events like ICO and IOs are very, very good events for you to flip and get a return on your capital. Okay. So let me take a break, a short break, and let me see if you guys type anything in the chat. I see some questions from Mark, JT, and all that. I'll answer the question later. And JT is absolutely right. I'm not pushing altcoins. I'm not pushing it. What I'm saying is that it is one of the ways for you to invest in crypto. And if you have a good system around it, it makes you a lot of money. For me, I'm pragmatic. Sure, in the past, people using ICOs can be seen as a cash grab. But it's the same as an equity listing, right? They are all cash grabs per se. So what you need to know is how do you differentiate the ones that are cash grabbing and the ones that are actually building a good product, a good code. And what are the things you want to look out for when investing in altcoins? So a lot of people might feel, oh, this is something that can't be done. It's very difficult. But that to me is a mode as well. When it's difficult and hard to understand, then you are able to move in faster before the mass market comes in. So something else that I did is Zalika. So this was done by ICO. Fantastic return. Put in about $900 and it became 30K. Yeah. Now, a lot of people might say that you can't do it because you are too old or you're too young. But just to share a little bit, my older student is 60, 70 years old. And my younger student was actually 15 when he first started. So he did very well in ICO investing. And he dropped me a short video testimony, which I'd like to play for everyone. I hope that you guys are able to hear the sound. Let me know if there's no sound yet.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm 15 years old. I'm from Pasir Ris Crest. And before his course, I had no idea what cryptocurrency was. During his course, he taught me about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and how to invest in ICOs. And after his course, I really went to invest in ICOs. I multiplied my profit by 5 times. And going on, I can continue to have more confidence in investing in ICOs and multiply my income.
Yeah, so Sean actually became quite a good, managed to get quite a good return from ICOs. He also wrote a book detailing his experience and sharing some of his interviews with various different crypto people. Yeah, so that is the second thing. right? The second system to get returns in crypto is to have a system in altcoins. Just to check, was the sound okay? I hope if it was okay, can you type in okay? Yeah. Now, third is a system for generating passive income. So when it comes to property, right, what are the two ways that you can get returns from passive income? The first, capital appreciation. And of course, the second is rental. The problem with property investing is that you need to have a huge initial outlay. But we can actually use this method where you bank on capital increase, capital appreciation, as well as rental, and you can actually port this over to crypto as well. So in cryptocurrency space, when I buy Bitcoin or crypto, right, one of the things that I love to do is I love to structure it into like a bond and get passive income on my crypto as well. So over here you can see for Bitcoin, I'm lending out my Bitcoin at 0.07% per day, which roughly works out to be about 12% per annum. Now, in the markets right now, it is not difficult to get 6 to 8% on your Bitcoin. In fact, when markets are really hot, you can actually get up to 100% or even more. So when I get such good rates, you can see that in terms of my duration, I will try to lock in for a longer duration, right? By default, usually my duration is 2 days. But when the rates move up a lot, because I know that this is above average rates, I will tend to lock it in. Yeah. And this is a fantastic way for you to get return in Bitcoin and crypto. Now, the normal people, or rather the guys who are not in the space, in their minds, right, because they don't know that how crypto has developed, they just think people are buying to speculate, which is true, fair enough, right? Whatever investment you buy, certain level of speculation lah. You know what I mean? You buy bonds, you're speculating how the interest rates will move. Honestly, you buy property, you're speculating that Singapore economy is going to continue to grow, population is going to come in, interest rates are going to continue to stay low. All these are speculation. Nobody knows for sure. You just look at trends and you speculate in the future. Same thing for crypto. But the beauty about it is that not a lot of people know that in the cryptocurrency space right now, there are things like decentralized finance. There are things like lending markets. There are things like forward trades. And all this, right, causes demand for cryptocurrency. It causes people to have a demand to borrow crypto. And as such, we can actually get interest rates when we lend it out. So this is a strategy for investors like me who like to buy long-term and hold. I'm basically accumulating and getting interest along the way. So this is essentially the three systems that you guys would need. The first, when to buy and sell Bitcoin. The second, how do you choose altcoins? And the third is how to generate passive income. Some other tips that I can give you is that if you are new, please leverage on someone's experience. For example, what is the cheapest way to go to Thailand? The cheapest way is to actually walk to Thailand. But why don't people walk if it's free? It's because number one, it takes a long time. Right? It takes a long time for you to walk there. And number two, there are dangers to it. When you walk through the jungle, when you walk through the highways, you can get into an accident and you can hurt yourself. So I think in the world of crypto and the world of investing is the same. I mean, a lot of people who essentially say, I want to figure out myself. And usually I tell them that the two things you want to look out for is how long is it going to take for you to get up to speed? And the second is, do you know what is the dangers to look out for? When people go to Thailand, basically they just buy a ticket and fly there. So for me, I think mentorship is like that. Some of you might want to bring your friends who are experienced in crypto out for a coffee or a meal, treat them and learn from them. Some of you might want to consider signing up for classes to learn and get up to speed. So for me, the dangers in crypto that I just want to highlight are things like phishing websites. So these phishing websites are basically scammers trying to steal your money. And there are so many of them in the crypto space. They will, either give you phishing links or they'll spam your MyEther wallet sites with random private keys to try to get into your account or to trick you to send them money. So just be very, very careful for that. Because I do have people coming to me and sharing that they have lost crypto due to a phishing scam. Right. This guy lost 7 Ethereum. And based on today's prices, 7 Ethereum is almost 10,000 US, 13,000 Sing. It's not a small amount, yeah. So I really hope that none of you will need to go through this. None of you will have to experience this kind of event lah. Okay. One of my students that I mentor is this lady called Cui Lan. So just very quickly share with you, these are some of the coins that she has invested in. She managed to make 173% return on Monero, 200% in NAV within 3 days. Eventually, she exited for 300% in Monero and 500% in NAV. So Cui is one of the success stories that I have from my mentees, amongst others. To be honest, because of how prices have moved, right? I might share with you a little bit about how I do this lah. So basically, I have started teaching crypto ever since 2017, right? So for the first batch of students, a lot of them experienced this where they saw their price go up a lot and then they begin to crash. So along the way, I think while it sucks for some of them, especially who started here to experience the crash actually allowed a great opportunity for them to accumulate. And then obviously, even those who bought at 20,000, today they are in profit. So I think what's really important is that you don't just buy here, but you need to have people come in and tell you, okay, right, in this bear market, what should we do? What are things that you want to consider? How do you want to approach the investments? So mentorship or coaching in these seasons was, to me at least, I feel especially important for them. And basically it was quite a good ROI or quite a good experience for most of the students over the past 3 years lah. So that's the second tip that I'll give, is that it'll be good if you can have someone mentoring you. The third is to always stay quick on your feet. Okay, in the world of crypto, you cannot be stagnant. So for example, in 2018, when things were very slow, or when markets were very tepid, I personally went into options as well. So over here, even though the price didn't move much, using the Bitcoin I have, number one, I'm gaining passive income on it. Lending it out, getting interest. Number two, I am using options and I use my inventory to do some options trade. So over here, this is basically what I get every single month on my options trade. I generate about 0.5 Bitcoin lah, which during that time was worth $500. The good thing about this, right, is that here is worth 500. But if I use today's pricing, this is actually $2,500 every month. And you can imagine for the entire year of 2018, 2019, I'm just been getting 0.05 Bitcoin every month for options, which I accumulate. And then today, because of price increase, in general, I've been getting about 2,005 every single month. So these are various ways where you can stay flexible, and you definitely need to stay quick on your feet for you to be successful in Bitcoin and in crypto. Okay, so I'm going to skip this because I think I'm a little bit short in time, and I want to leave some time for Q&A. All right. So here are the 3 strategies that I talked about today. First, you must have profitable systems. What kinds of systems do you need? Number 1, you need a system for Bitcoin. Number 2, you need a system for altcoins. How do you buy? How do you select? How do you choose? Number 3, you need to know how to get passive income, or in other words, is you know how to get rental on your crypto. Second strategy, find a mentor with a good track record. Third strategy is to stay updated with the trends. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys are here, because if you haven't got started in crypto, now is a great time to start. Last year, something very interesting happened, which is COVID-19. And COVID-19 was an unexpected pandemic that is probably going to hyper accelerate Bitcoin's rise. Why do I say that? Because in the Feb of 2020, Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is a stable index per se, right? It actually fell 36.8% in a month. And the governments responded in an expected fashion. What did they do? Print money. They printed in March, they printed in April, they printed in May, and eventually the Federal Reserve assets went up to 6.6 trillion. Interesting to note, the first 2 trillion, they took 200 years to reach this level. The second 2 trillion, right, 2 to 4 trillion, they took 10 years. The next 2 trillion, which is from 4 trillion to 6 trillion, you know how fast it was? Only 3 months. And right now, they're in discussion to start to print more money again. So basically, there's a disconnect between the financial economy and the real economy. Even though there are record jobless claims, risk assets went up. Record jobless claims, but stock prices keep going up. So I feel that the demand for store of value is going to continue to accelerate in such an environment. So I've been saying that in 2020, I think it's probably going to go into 2021 unless there is a huge so right now there's this situation where there's inflation and interest rates are going up, but economy has not really recovered. So that is the tricky situation. But I think that in general, people are going to look for safe havens, or at least more and more people, instead of holding cash, they're going to look for stores of value. And this is actually quite bullish for things like Bitcoin or perhaps even traditional gold. So how much or what have the Feds done to save the economy? They have basically injected more than $6 trillion into the economy. Let me show you what the difference is, 1 billion versus 1 trillion. If I convert it into seconds, 1 billion seconds is 31.71 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,710 years. It's a huge difference. And there's going to be $7 trillion that is being pumped into the market. So how is this going to affect all the various assets out there? Think about it, right? So this is another one of the investment theses I have regarding Bitcoin actually and regarding crypto. There's probably going to be a lot of tailwinds for Bitcoin. I think number one question is, will Bitcoin have another wave? So last year, let me stop sharing so that y'all can see my face a little bit. How do I stop share for this? Pause sharing? Stop sharing? Oh, okay. So don't know whether or not you can see my face lah. But essentially, what I feel is that right now in the cryptocurrency space, it has gone up quite a lot in a very short while. So as of today, which is February, I would say that there are signs that the market is a little bit overextended. It could still have legs to run. Basically, it could still have legs to run. But I think short term wise, we are probably going to see it trade within a range, or if not, it could even go down. So that is my opinion in terms of the current market sentiments. Yeah. So I don't know how to reshare it again. Let me test this out. Okay. Let's see.
You can stop sharing mine and then you can share yours just like what you did.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah, I shared mine while you were talking.
Oh, okay. I see. So I'm not sure how to stop sharing yours.
Yeah,
Let me
that
try.
was-
Okay, maybe I do this lah. I click stop sharing already, but it still says screen loading. So
Okay, I will click stop sharing. Okay,
oh,
right?
okay, perfect. Yeah. So let me just share. So basically, I realized that for this platform, right, my face doesn't go to the main screen. Is it? You'll always
Correct.
be the side screen. Oh, I see. So that's how it works. Okay, something that not that used to, but very good experience. Yeah. So you can just look here, lah. Right. I mean, I think that it has extended quite high. So here's the problem, all right, and this is what I tell most people. Okay, if I were to change the dates, right, to 20 to this date instead, 2017 to 2018.
The screen is not loading yet. Did it
Oh,
prompt you for permission? Yeah, do you?
I see it here though. I think maybe it's just laggy. You see it now? We can wait.
Okay, let me.
I'm showing a chart on Bitcoin.
Okay.
Do you guys see it?
No.
Oh,
You stop sharing and start sharing again.
okay. Can y'all see it now? Let's wait for a while.
Okay.
Some technical issues. Cannot.
Cannot.
Actually, maybe if you guys can type in the chat. Can y'all see? If y'all can see, could you type yes?
No, cannot see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
um. Let me see.
I can see it fine on mine though.
Did the start the little floating bar appear at the bottom that says stop sharing or something like that?
Yeah, there's a stop sharing here, which I clicked
Okay.
stop sharing already. Are you able?
Okay. So
Do
now
you,
stop sharing. So you click start sharing again, and then maybe
okay.
you have to choose
So I've
the
just clicked start sharing as well,
uh-huh. Then
and
you
I
will.
just click share. So right now on my screen it looks okay.
Did it ask you which screen you want to share?
I already selected the screen.
Ah,
Are you able to see?
no, nothing. Ah, interesting. Hmm.
No,
No.
it looks fine on mine.
Yeah, one of those things. Mm, okay, feeling which I think what we can try is for you to exit the room and come back in and then see if you can.
Okay,
Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Meanwhile,
let's try that.
hang,
Sorry, guys.
hang in there.
Okay, I'm gonna exit.
Sorry, guys, as of this little technical glitch. While Chris is exiting the room and coming back in to see if he can get back to share the screen, um, let's just enjoy the music. Yes, Chris, I see you. Please try to turn on your video and your mic. Yes, we see you. And now is to stop my sharing. You can stop my sharing, and then you can start your sharing.
Okay, so I'll wait for you to stop yours first. Okay.
You can stop me.
I can't
On the top left corner, you click on the screen,
Yeah.
then drop down menu, and in the drop down menu it says stop sharing.
Not sharing. Okay.
Then you use the same plus sign, and then choose start sharing.
Does this work?
Okay, and then you choose the screen you want to share.
Okay. I've chosen it.
Okay, let's wait for a few seconds.
Okay.
No.
Well, what does it say on yours? What do you see?
Oh, it just says a screen loading.
Oh, okay.
I
How should we do this? I'm actually quite near the end of my presentation
I
already.
So two ways. One way is you can do without this, and then you just say verbally. That's one way. Second way is that you reboot your computer, then come back in. Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that.
Okay. You try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think I can just basically do without lah.
Oh,
With the slides.
can
I'm really nearly done.
Q&A. No problem.
Yeah, so we can just basically go straight into the Q&A. My closing statements were actually that right now institutions are actually beginning to come in. So there are a lot of hedge funds that's coming in. You see guys like MicroStrategy, Elon Musk with Tesla coming in. And I think earlier on, Richard already shared about how DBS is launching a digital exchange as well. So for me, I think that this is kind of mainstream already or going mainstream. So I will say that we are probably in the final innings, and there's probably another maybe 1 or 2 more cycles for Bitcoin before it hits mass adoption. So it'll be a good time for you guys to really get started learning. I think, Richard, we did this cryptocurrency class actually 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Are you here?
Yes.
Yeah.
2017. Yeah.
So actually, Richard, you already introduced a great opportunity for everyone 3 years ago. I remember you are actually my third or fourth class, very, very early.
Yes, that's
When
right.
I started in 2017. Those times Bitcoin was how much? I think 7,000 only.
Yeah, just before the crash.
Okay, so it was actually a great. I mean, I think Richard really had foresight to start sharing with his community. I still remember it was with Online Traders Club Singapore,
That's correct.
right? OTCS. And I'm sure if any of you are still here from those batch, and if you had applied what you learned, you should be in quite good profits financially wise. So I thought that was really something that you did, Richard, that had really good foresight for your community.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that's why I think now it's also timely to bring back the topic, because I think there's a new way for people that is interested and not knowing where to look. And I think you are one of the few people that I know that is a practitioner and also have walked the talk, right? And a chef that eat your own food and make triple digit return. So I can't think of anybody else better that I personally know to share more about crypto investing than you. Yeah. So on the topic of ending off this session, before we go into the Q&A, do you want to share about your what you do to offer the students, the attendees, to learn from you? Because I do have that last few slides that you sent me, so I could share my screen instead of you. And then,
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
yeah,
if you could,
we
share it, that'd be great.
yeah. So should I do that?
Yes, can.
Okay, let me
So
get to that.
it's actually right now. In the past, we used to do live training lah. Basically, me and my training company used to do live training. But ever since COVID hit, we have taken the live training and recorded everything into videos. So for now, we are only offering video training. So we have hosted all these videos on a training platform. And this platform is where you can go and you can get started. You will learn about the 3 strategies that I talk about. Or rather, I would say you will learn about the 3 systems that I talk about. The system on how to enter exit Bitcoin, the system on how to choose altcoins, and the system on how to get passive income. Then for those who have questions in the platform itself, there are actually discussion portions for people to go in, and then they can actually ask questions to me, or basically carry out a discussion, and the rest of the students can be a part of that. So if anyone here would like to sign up for that, there you go. Maybe before we tell them how to sign up, we can show them a little bit about the earlier parts, what it looks like. So next slide, please. So this is the complete course. 7 modules, 30 videos with hours content, partner bonuses, discussion section. And why I say it's 2 years is because we have already paid for this platform for 2 years. We will continue to renew the platform as long as people are still having a demand for the course. By the end of the day, even if we start hosting on a platform, we are going to put everything into a video site like YouTube. So you'll still be able to access the videos. Yeah. Can I have the next slide? Right. So this is what the modules look like. The entire modules. Under each modules is a sub chapter. Next slide. So for example, if you click on one of these modules, it looks something like this. The video is playable and you can just play this particular chapter. Next slide. Then on the top right, you can see this discussion section. Can you all see? Next slide. If you click on the discussion section, you will be able to create a new post or to basically ask me question. Next slide. Then I will always reply any questions that is being asked there. Yeah, and then other students can also look at our discussion and learn from it, and they can also chime in as well. Next slide, please. So if you want reviews, we have it on Facebook. I think some of you guys will know already. Next slide. The previews are pretty good. On top of that, we will throw in one coaching session. So this coaching session will be like a small group coaching session where I run through market analysis. I will go through Bitcoin Profit Secrets, some of the most important parts. And I'll share some of my favorite altcoins during that coaching session as well. So you get one of these. Next slide. Then you'll have all these various different templates and resources, data, Excel sheets to calculate investment amount, curated apps, as well as data aggregator tools. Next slide. Yeah, so you can just click all the way. Yeah, so this is the value 1891. But today we'll want to offer a special price. Next slide, which is 697. But on top of that, because Richard and I go way back, we would actually like to additionally include a coupon for all of you that is only in Wealth and Joy. Could you click next slide? Yeah, so if you use this coupon, Wealth and Joy, you will be able to get an additional $300 off, which will make it 397. Yeah, so that is what we are doing right now lah. Would you like to show them the link or how to sign up, Richard?
Yes, we do that.
Yeah. So there's a special link for Wealth and Joy. When you click on that link, it will bring you to a page like this. So the code, you just copy it, and then you click on another link that will bring you to the Thinkific platform. Yeah. So you'll see whether or not, yeah, so you can click on that link and then it will bring you to this passive crypto wealth page. And you click on the other link that says click here to enroll for Bitcoin Profit Secrets online course. It will bring you to the page of Bitcoin Profit Secrets. So on the top right of Bitcoin Profit Secrets, you can click get started now. Yeah. Possible to share the page? Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll orientate here a bit.
Ah,
Basically, what happens is that if you click on that link, Passive Crypto Wealth / Chris Long, you will land on this page where you can get the free gift, the PDF on the top 10 crypto guide from Chris, the PDF that was promised to you when you received the invite to this webinar. And at the same time, if you're interested to learn from Chris of his experience, to embark on this journey of how to invest in crypto, you can consider to take up his e-course, the online course that you can gain access immediately upon payment, and that is by clicking this link over here, right? So if you click this link, then you'll be taken to their course page, and their normal price will be the 697, but because I bargained with Chris, right, and also because we went back 3-4 years ago when he first started, so I said, hey, can you give me something special for my community? And he said, okay. So I've negotiated a $300 discount that you can use to buy this to enroll in this e-course. So it's getting started now here. Click on that link, and then you can key in the
yeah. I think you scroll down. So
now.
can you open this on Safari? Are you using
I'm using Chrome.
using Chrome? Do you have Safari?
Safari.
Yeah.
Okay.
If not, it's okay. If not, then you might need to log in for them to see this. But if you okay, fantastic. This is better. So click on Safari. Yeah. So for some of you, you might need to register first. It's just basically because different browsers, they have different interfaces. Click on Get Started now.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Here also cannot.
Cannot
Okay, that means maybe you really need to sign in. So my Safari have an option to immediately put on the coupon code. But
Oh,
you can just create and sign up first. Then you can show them how to insert the coupon.
I see. So it's basically to sign up for an account first, then can keep
Yeah.
on
Or you can click on Facebook. Do you see that Facebook logo? Yeah.
Facebook local. Yes.
Yeah, you can click on that. See whether you can log in or not. Oh, cannot.
It's okay. I don't think it's that difficult. So basically, is you have to get an account with this website first. Then inside there, you can key in the coupon code. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, got it.
So you want, you can show them. If not, we can go straight to Q&A.
Yeah, we will go to Q&A first. All right. So, okay, wow. Okay, so we have come to the end of the sharing by Chris. So if you have questions regarding what he has shared today, please feel free to type into the chat box now. If you are watching this on the desktop computer, the chat box is on the bottom right of the screen. If you are watching this on mobile devices, then you will need to scroll up or down to look for the chat box. And please type in your questions. Any questions regarding crypto, please feel free to ask. Today is the day, okay, that what is stopping you from investing or putting in some funds into crypto. Again, I want to emphasize that you don't put in all your assets. It's only got to be a small amount of it. So while you are typing in the questions, maybe Chris, may I ask you some questions to start off with first?
Sure.
Yeah.
There are some questions already in the chat. Shall I answer those first?
Can also can.
Okay.
Mm.
So from Adeline, she asked, is it Sing dollar, US dollar? It's Sing dollars. From Chris, yeah, another person my name. He says, thanks for sharing. I'm new to crypto world. In as much as it is wonderful to hear the success stories from your students, it will be great to also hear students who have not done well. For such cases, what were the root causes that potentially students should avoid? I love such questions. Because I think this means that you are seriously thinking about what the journey is going to be like. To be very honest, right, the success of my students right now is so successful. It's also because of timing. Because I've done this for so long, and my strategy is long-term strategy. That means I don't do trading. I am what is called a hodler. So basically, I tell people to build a portfolio in crypto and basically continue to accumulate and build it with good quality crypto or coins, and then stack a passive income strategy on top of that. Because this is the method that I do, when right now crypto is all-time high, I have very little failure stories. Because basically how you can't lose if Bitcoin is 50K. You know, every trade that they have done earlier is in profit. Now, but I would say right now in the world of my students, there are a few key things that come up that I would say contribute to them not succeeding as much. Number one, I have this student who took on a loan to buy crypto, and he's aggressive. He didn't stick to Bitcoin, Ethereum. He bought a lot of altcoins, and some of these altcoins eventually didn't recover. He bought it during the peak. That got him into a lot of trouble. For about a year, he was in debt. But the good news is that because of the recent rise in crypto prices, his portfolio went up so high that he could basically sell it off and pay off his debt. But that is the warning that I'll give. Please don't use leverage or don't take a loan just to buy into crypto. Second is that you must have your own conviction. So I can share with you my conviction. You listen to what I say, you listen to my analysis, you listen to my thought process. And at that point of time, you need to ask yourself, do I buy in with Chris's philosophy? Because the strategies will only work if your investment thesis and my thesis is the same. My investment thesis since 2016, even through the crash in 2017 to 18, is that Bitcoin is here to stay. Eventually, there'll be enough buy pressure for Bitcoin to go higher, even beyond 20,000. Because that's my conviction, that's my thesis, I can carry out my strategy of building the portfolio. Some of the students, they follow me halfway through. When the bear market hit, they just basically stopped. Which, for me, I say that when the bear market hits, that's the best time to buy cheap. You just need to manage your risk, manage your exposure. So they still make money, but they make less than me lah, and they make less than some of the students who go through the whole journey together. So those are the two things that I think really stand out. Number one, don't use leverage. Only invest money can lose. Number two, you must form your own conviction and your own thesis. I mean, you can use mine, definitely, but that must become something that you believe in as well. Only then will you be able to make decisions for crypto. If you feel that crypto is short term, it's speculative, eventually it's going to die off, but before it die off, there's going to be a bubble that forms. If that is what you believe, then you must position your investment in that manner. Some of you guys are from Online Traders Club, right? You don't need to invest. You don't need to build a portfolio. If you believe that this is a short-term spike, then you just trade crypto law. You buy, you reach a certain point, you see the indicators, you sell, right? So that is your conviction. So for me, that's important. And that's what I would say I want to kind of talk about. Yeah, so I think those are the two questions that I see. Back to you, Richard. Do you want to say anything?
No.
Uh,
You want me to ask you the question, or do you want to look at the list and you answer?
actually, you asked me lah, because
As
when
you
I look at the list, I cannot see the
okay, no
screen.
problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start from the top then. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, VC is asking, how to know which are the good crypto to invest?
It's such a long question. I can't answer it in a few minutes. I think if you could choose, if I can share just one criteria that I look out for, right? So the one criteria that I think is really, really important is the liquidity to exit. So when you buy into altcoin, right, you want to consider the growth of that liquidity. Is it listed on exchanges? Are people buying and selling it? Why do people buy and sell it? Why is this crypto interesting? So these are questions that you want to ask yourself. And eventually, when you sell it out, will you crash liquidity? So a lot of people go into ICOs during the previous bubble, 2017, 2018, and they're like, they go to conferences, they buy these exciting coins that promise a lot of stuff. But the thing they never think about is when they buy this coin, how can they sell it? If you can't sell it, there's no liquidity, you are taking on really a very massive amount of risk. And for me, you might as well, if you're going to take that risk, it's so much higher, you might as well just reduce it a bit and just buy coins that are already trading and have liquidity for you to exit. One of the examples I like to give is that if you can go back in time to 1980, right, guys, if you can travel back in time to 1980 and you're in Singapore, whether you buy a shop house at Clarke Quay, a mansion in Orchard Road, or a landed property that is 20,000 square feet in Jurong, does it really matter whether or not you buy the property that will outperform the rest? If you can go back in time, does it really matter? It doesn't. Because when you buy a property in Singapore in 1980s, no matter what you buy, honestly, no matter what you buy, as long as freehold, yeah, today is going to be worth so much more. Sure, some property will outperform other property, but you don't need to be hard up about that because just that growth, right? Even the worst performing property in Singapore from 1980s to today will still make you a lot of money because of the Singapore growth story. So that's how I view altcoins as well. When I buy into altcoins, I'm not trying to pick the next super winner or the next champion, that kind of thing. For me, what I want is I want to buy an altcoin that will not die off. And then I will write the growth story up. So if you buy property, you write Singapore growth story. You buy altcoin, for me, it is writing the altcoin blockchain growth story. So that's my thought process.
Right. Thank you, Chris. And let me see. Okay, this is coming from Chew, CHEW. Any comments on the risks of crypto? Like, for example, Janet Yellen mentioned that BTC is not eco-friendly, not efficient means of exchange, and quantum computing may one day be able to crack few crypto in future.
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. For me to do that right, it's just like it just exists, law. For you to expect a 1000% increase in crypto, you must expect that these are things that could happen. It is risk that exists. And if it's not this risk, it's going to be something else. So there are so many arguments about so many things. Like, for example, McDonald's will die because fast food is causing obesity, and because farming cattle causes a lot of CO2, is going to cause global warming, etc. But McDonald's is still here, right? So while yes, there are doomsday scenarios to think about, but really, how much does it matter, right? Especially when you are going to crypto, this is already the high risk, high return stage already. These are things that will happen, but it's because you shoulder that risk. That is why there is possibly that kind of 1000% reward. It's all risk to reward. It's just like you buy Toto, the risk is high, but your return is even higher. Yeah. So I think that is where you wanna consider. So for me, I don't put all my money in crypto, right? I put 10%. If I lose my 10%, if Yellen comes in and shuts down Bitcoin, okay lah, I lose 10%, but I still have my 90% left. But if Yellen doesn't shut it down, if they solve the eco problem, if adoption happens, then Bitcoin can go from 50,000 to 250,000 or 500,000. Then my this 10%, right, will essentially outperform the rest of my portfolio. So for me, that is how I approach it. It's called the barbell investment strategy. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Chu, I hope that answers your question. The next question comes from JT, and he or she asks, on reports from a few years ago that the mining pool is increasingly concentrated in a few major pools in China. Is that a major or a concern about that?
It is. But I think it keeps rebalancing. So recently in the US, they started to build farms as well. And with MicroStrategy, with Elon Musk and all these guys coming in, they don't buy billions of dollars of Bitcoin without considering that as well. So I'm sure that in the US side, they are also ramping up their farms. And as long as it's profitable, they will continue to build various different farms around the world. But yes, it is a concern if one single entity or one single country accumulates too much of the power. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Chris. Next question comes from Chu again, and he or she is asking, is it possible to come up with a fair value of Bitcoin at any point in time?
What's the fair value of gold? Think about it. It's hard because Bitcoin is like a commodity. The value of gold is just determined on supply and demand. We know supply, but we don't know demand. Demand is being pushed by bullion banks as well as various different government entities. Same thing as Bitcoin. We know supply, we don't know demand. You can only kind of put certain assumptions and you can kind of try and predict intuitively how the trends of the world will move. So it's hard to put an intrinsic value. You can probably use stuff like stock to flow models, MVT ratios, but I think those are indicative at best, and you cannot really say that's the intrinsic value of Bitcoin. It's like it's different from using a DCF model on stocks. Yeah. So probably indicative. You can use commodity valuation models like stock to flow. Crypto valuation models, they use MVT, which is the network value of transactions. But aside from that, I think it's very difficult to put an intrinsic value.
Right. Thank you, Chris. And the next question comes from Mark, and he's asking, what is the use of altcoin when we already have Bitcoin?
Altcoins are very diverse. You can do a lot of stuff with altcoins. And right now they're lending protocols. They are token distributing protocols. There are yield aggregators. So there are a lot of things you can do in altcoins. Altcoins are not just simply a medium of exchange or store of value like Bitcoin anymore. Yeah.
Right. And JT is asking, given how is the Bitcoin compared to Ethereum, the safety aspect of it?
So over here, I think I want to just kind of highlight again, because these questions about safety it's not to do with the individual crypto per se, but I think safety is controlled at your own portfolio level. So meaning to say, if you don't want to risk so much, then you limit the amount of portfolio put in. So instead of 10%, maybe you put in 5%, or maybe you put in 1%. So this is how you go in safely, with the expectation that crypto might eventually crash to zero, and with the expectation that the sky's the limit in terms of return. You manage your risk by only putting in that percentage of amount that you can lose. And that's how you maintain safety. You will never be financially ruined by crypto. But if you're talking about whether or not price goes to zero, I would say that at the current state, it is less likely for Bitcoin to go to zero compared to Ethereum because of institutions having it on their balance sheet, because of the sheer volume, because of the trading volume as well. And to be honest, I think it's difficult for Ethereum to go to zero as well for the very same reason. There is liquidity enough to sustain it. Think about it, guys. If Bitcoin goes to $1, will you not just put in $500 to buy 500 Bitcoin knowing that it was 150K? There will always be someone that will be willing to put in a small amount. So I think it may crash. It may crash 90%, 95%, even 99%. But to go to zero, I think it's low probability. My opinion, not financial advice. My opinion.
Right. Thanks, Chris. Okay, this question comes from Barry. I don't know whether this aspect will be covered in your online course or not, but he's asking, thanks, Chris, for sharing. What are the top 5 metrics you would use to evaluate the altcoin before you buy in?
Yeah, I'll cover that in the online course. So I think I'll just leave it for those people who sign up. If not, it might be a bit unfair for the guys who sign up for the course. I
Right.
already checked one already today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is liquidity, right? Is it?
Yeah, liquidity.
Yeah, I was paying attention.
Very nice.
Okay. Now, next question comes from SK. SK is asking how to be kept updated with you after taking the e-course?
I don't know, follow my Facebook. So for the e-course, we basically do the discussion. Anyway, because I'm not really a trader kind of guy who give calls or drop like, okay, everybody buy this price at this price. So there really isn't much to keep updated with me. Cause I am that kind where I buy once a month, I do my research, and then I build a portfolio. So I don't do a lot of trade calls if that what's what you're looking for. For if let's say you want to have more, I don't know, like to get more connection or communication, usually after the e-course, right, we open up the option for you to join the Kryptonite membership. So inside the Kryptonite membership, we have things like a Telegram group and a Facebook group, but that will be an additional membership fee on top of the e-course, because the e-course is designed to be accessible by everyone. Then only those who are more interested to be part of the community to discuss stuff with the seniors and all, then they'll consider membership. So that's potentially one thing that you can look at after that.
Right. Thank you, Chris. And Regina is asking, do you sell Bitcoin or more of a long-term accumulation?
I do long-term accumulation, but I'm pragmatic as well. I take profits and I do sell Bitcoin and altcoin. And actually, the manner in which I take profits is part of the strategy. Actually, I should add that as one of the strategies, a strategy on how to take profit. Cause I spend a lot of time thinking about how to exit, how to approach profit taking in crypto. So yes, I do take profit from it as well, but I do it in a manner where I'm not so exposed to my emotion. Yeah. So one of my things that I personally think people struggle with is that people always cut losses too slowly and they take profits too quickly. So I design my profit taking in such a way that I can avoid that. And it has worked very well, especially in this recent boom. Yeah. I don't know if I answered the question or not.
No problem. If you have more questions from the attendees, please feel free to type in the chat box. I'm still going through the list. Next question comes from WQ. He or she is asking, do you advocate DCA or lump sum when market is down?
I advocate DCA.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, WQ. Okay, let me see. Okay, Catherine is asking about the e-course. Is it a interactive chapters, or do you just give us access to the video and we learn it at our own pace?
Okay, so for Bitcoin Profit Secrets, right, it is only an e-course, it is only a video. So I must be very clear. For 397, there is only the e-course and the video. There is no Telegram group and there's no Facebook group and all that kind of thing. That one is for the membership, right? So the purpose of me doing that is because for some of you guys, you all don't need that kind of community and you all don't need that kind of support. You all just want to know what is the strategy, how do I get started, etc., etc. So for that is covered in the e-course. But if you want to get all those Telegram group and all, then you can consider joining the membership after the e-course. Just go for the e-course first. Everyone needs to go through it anyway. Then during the coaching session, which we will be providing you the link with to register and all, we will share more of the e-course and then we will just basically gather interest and myself or one of my guys will give people who are interested a call to kind of share more details. And actually we also want to see whether or not the student is a good fit for the community lah. Yeah, so that is how we go about doing it.
Right. Thank you, Chris. Kelly is saying that the coupon code is not working. So
Actually I think it's good if you can show them a live example on how to do the coupon code and to just make sure that it's okay.
All right. We'll get back to that later on.
Yeah.
Let me go through the question first. Chris is asking, what would be a good typical amount to start for with crypto investing? What is the percentage allocation of the total crypto portfolio to altcoins?
Well, so that's kind of tricky because well, I mean, it really depends on your portfolio. That means like how much are you earning, how much are your total savings. Generally, I would say 10%. I think that if it is, if I mean, I hope I don't offend anyone with this, but if let's say like you're a young guy, right? Let's say you're 20 years old. I don't know how old you guys are, and your entire savings is 5,000 or 10,000. Then putting 10% is 500 to $1,000 in. It's fine. You can totally do it. But using 500 to 1,000, to me, the returns is not really significant. So my opinion from a financial standpoint is if you are at that level, I would rather you invest in courses that improve your skill sets, like you improve your marketing or you go for a degree, because what's important is you must maximize your earning potential. Now, assuming that that side you got it covered and you want to put in, you still want to put in crypto. If your entire portfolio is $5,000 and you're young, you must ask yourself, uh, like, okay, so I assume I already take the risk lah. For that situation, if you're younger, right, I would say you can put a higher percentage in crypto because if you lose your entire 5,000, your entire savings 5,000, you lose it. Truth be told, in a few months, right, you can earn it back. But if this 5,000 go 10x and it becomes 50,000, it actually is a huge improvement to your lifestyle at that stage of time. Or it can be part of, it can be like your wedding expenses or a down payment for a house, and it's going to help a lot. So I would say that it depends on a few factors. If you are younger, you can afford to take more risks. You can maybe go higher by 10%, but don't take a loan to trade Bitcoin. If you're older, especially you're going to retire, consider 10% or less. Yeah, that's my thoughts on this.
Right. Okay, cool. Thanks, Chris. Okay, let me see. Okay, Chris is asking a question. Does the e-course cover guidance on how to securely store the crypto on a cold wallet?
Say again?
Does the
How to securely?
does the e-course teach how to store crypto on cold wallet?
There's a module there, but just note that if you store it on a cold wallet, you cannot get yield. That means you cannot get rental and interest. So yeah, that's the thing to think about.
Yeah, keeping coin in your cold wallet is basically putting cash under your pillow. It's not.
But it's safe lah.
It can't even earn interest. Yeah. So if you
Yeah,
want
but it's
to earn
safe.
something from the crypto, the crypto has to be out there with some vendors or some service provider. Then it can generate the yield for you. Correct, Chris?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. More question. Catherine is asking, for the e-course, is it straight away can start or have to wait for a scheduled date for the e-course to start?
You can straight away start. It's video recording. Yeah. Oh, anyway, for the person who was asking about the coupon, right? I realized what happened already. I set the expiry date by mistake. So I've told the guys to clear the expiry date. I think it should work now, so you can try again.
Okay.
Apologies for that.
Okay, so let me see. Just now, yes, Kelly was saying that the coupon code didn't work. So Kelly, trouble you to try the coupon code again. It is wealth and joy, one word. Wealth and joy, one word. Okay. So for those of you who have tried and it's not working, I see a few persons who asked the same question. Please try again. Chris' team has fixed the coupon code. Okay, let me see what other questions are there.
Think it should work.
Kelly. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Kelly. You're welcome. Okay.
Really good questions that you guys are asking, by the way. think it shows that you are really spending some time to think about it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so RW is asking, what will happen to Bitcoin if it is fully mined?
Mm, so the miners will still earn money because every time you do a transaction, right, you need to pay a bit of transaction fee to the miners. So they will still be able to earn money from it. That's one. Secondly, I'm quite pragmatic. The last Bitcoin is mined in 2140, which is 120 years from now. So I'll be dead. So I don't really care. uh, so for me, that's my approach lah. I believe that I have, in terms of my profit taking, right, I have a few layers, but I also have an ultimate profit taking layer, meaning to say when I buy Bitcoin while I'm long term, I'm not entirely sure that it is ready to act as something that you pass on to your next generation. It's too complicated, they might get lost, and eventually, if let's say Bitcoin hits 150,000, to me, that's my ultimate exit. So if it is 150,000, I would probably sell everything or sell a huge chunk of it and just really enjoy the rest of my life. Yeah, because at that price, my portfolio would be quite significant, enough for me to, well, I don't know, enjoy life. Yeah, so for me, that's how I de-risk and how I invest pragmatically. And because it is only 120 years later that the last Bitcoin will be mine, it doesn't concern me as much. Yeah.
Maybe you'll live so long, leh? Huh? Maybe
No lah, I hope not lah. I hope I die at 80 years old.
genome vitamin that you can pop
I don't want. I don't need. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't
grandchildren.
mind passing on. Yeah.
Okay, get jokes aside. Okay, Val is asking, he or she is a beginner, whether the e-course is suitable.
I mean, it's designed for beginners. But I think what's really more important is, you must have a certain level of, like it shows you how to do the videos, but I think that education is one part of the equation. You need to have experience, meaning to say after you set up the exchanges, you hear about all the strategies and all, you must actually be able to click the buy button and perform the transfers, everything. The first time is a little bit intimidating and start with a small amount. You may pay a bit more fees, etc., but treat it as a learning process because it's a skill set that you can carry with you. But I think once you go past that stage, it should get easier and easier. Yeah.
Right. Okay. WB is asking, you were saying now maybe the top of the peak of the wave, but at the same time, the big institutions are coming in. So should we wait or should we buy a little and hold?
I wish I can draw. I wish I can't show you my screen. So how let me see if I am able to draw and kind of put it into my this pad a little bit. So actually how it works in terms of prices, right, is it moves like that. You know, see? Not sure if you all can see. It moves like that. So
Spiral.
yeah, so prices move in spirals, and that's why I use the term cycles. Actually, everything in finance, whether it is stocks, whether it's credit, they all move in cycles, big cycles, small cycles. They expand and then they contract. So right now, I'm saying that in this particular cycle, we are probably halfway through or reaching the top, meaning to say it can still have legs to ride, it can still potentially go up. But we must expect the cycle to go down. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, every time the cycle goes down, it never reaches the previous low in the cycle. So in 2017, it went from 1,000 to 20,000 and then it crashed. But the lowest it went was 3,000. So that was the bottom of that cycle. Now, from 3,000, or rather it started this year at 10,000, it has gone to 50,000. My opinion is that it probably wouldn't see 3,000 again, but it might correct back down to something like 15,000, right? We don't know when the cycle is, but from what I see, adoption by institution and purchasing, it probably will not enter the previous cycle's low, which is 3K. So that is how you think about it lah. And then during the next cycle, maybe it will grow from 50K to a million or 50K to 100,000. Then that will be the next cycle. And then it will not go down to this cycle's low, which could be 10 or 12K. I'm just throwing numbers, they're totally random. They have no guidance to it, one. It's just what I observe. And it's just a concept that I'm trying to push across. Yeah.
Right. Now, this is a combination of a few questions. A few of the attendees are asking, does the e-course cover what are the exchanges to go to buy coins or to invest, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it does. Please, if you want to go for the exchanges, especially the Singapore one, which is tokenized exchange, please use the link provided, because these exchanges have, or this Singapore exchange tokenized have a collaboration with us. Everyone that we kind of introduce in using our referral, that you guys will get 20 TKX. So it's free crypto. That 20 TKX as of now, if I remember correctly, is worth $60. So that's going to be credited into your account. It's like a collaboration that you have. I noticed that there's Adeline inside from Kryptonite. I don't know, is it the same Adeline I'm thinking about? But if you are the same Adeline and you join from early on, during the early days, right, the tokenized referral is 100 TKX, which is like 300 US dollars based on today's price. So these crypto coins, right, it acts as a nice little referral and it offsets your trading fee as well.
Right. Thank you, Chris. Okay, let me see. RW is asking, is Bitcoin trading approved by MAS?
I don't know. I don't think I don't think it's approved. I don't think it's banned. Yeah. But then think about it. DBS is starting a digital exchange. So what do you infer from that? Do you think that DBS will have checked in with MES before opening the exchange, or do you think they have not? So that's something that to think about lah. So I don't think it's an official statement that they endorse Bitcoin trading, but my gut feeling is that MES is open to it. They want to observe and see.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. Okay. Well, wait for one last question. I see one person typing. Let me while waiting for that. Let me see if there's any more other questions. If not, while waiting for the last question to come in, Chris, I'll question myself.
Okay.
Given all the attention that Bitcoin is getting from the institutions and also some of the traditional conservative companies, some banks, and even Visa and Master are looking at it. How do you think that we should just? Don't you think that we should just focus on the Bitcoin? Why should we? Why do we want to bother ourselves with other coins? Right? We just focus ourselves with the biggest.
You can, but then altcoins give you a much higher return.
Okay. So invest can potentially get more returns lah. Bitcoin return already very nice already last year.
It's true, but also because now Bitcoin is quite like big in terms of market cap, right? So maybe it's attractive to see it grow by 500%. But some of the altcoins in the last year has grown by 2,000, 3,000, 4,000%. And I think they merit some exposure lah. Yeah, they merit some exposure. So depends on you lah. If you want to play a bit safer, then you'll just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum lah. But I think that the life-changing money, like literally life-changing money, would come from Bitcoin. Would come from altcoins.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So just to share from last year till this year, I think my altcoins has gone up by maybe 2,000-3,000%, and it's a life-changing amount.
2,000-3,000%. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that is good to explore, and there's really some really quite interesting stuff that's built in the altcoin world. Really quite interesting to me.
Right. So will all this be covered inside the e-course as well? The
We will cover on how to select the altcoins, but of course,
criteria. Mm.
this stuff like, oh, you know, there's really something strong building on the altcoin world. These are my own personal thoughts. It's not a course. It's just you know, my thinking. It's not something that needs to be taught. It's just my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. And Kelly is asking, how do you trade options on crypto? Do you need the crypto to pay for the options?
Yes, you need crypto to pay for options. How do you trade?
On a
Open an account on the options platform. Make sure that you fund it with options, with crypto, and then you trade it there.
right, same lah. Put and call with strike prices, is it?
Put call strike prices, yeah. Same.
Just like the traditional options. Okay, now the last question, because the time is just nice at 10 p.m. and we'll take one last question from Lou, L-O-U. What is a recommended app to watch altcoins?
Oh, I use Delta. You can use a CoinGecko app as well.
What's the first one you said?
Delta, D-E-L-T-A.
Okay.
I think CoinGecko is better lah.
Okay. So
I type it in.
app is it or the website?
They have apps as well.
Okay.
You
So
can get the app.
answers your question. CoinGecko. Yes, got it. Okay, so with that, last question, I'd like to close today's webinar and thank you for all the attendees who have stayed with us till the end. And for those of you who have signed up for the course, please remember to use Wealth Enjoy coupon code to enjoy the $300 off the price. Okay, and a 397, a special discount that we have negotiated and gotten for you. So, and Chris, any last words that you want to share with the attendees?
All the best on your crypto investing journey.
All right, thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for coming. And remember, if you to join our Telegram channel, if you have not already joined it, please look for Passive Crypto Wealth in Telegram and join the channel so that we can keep you posted of the upcoming interesting crypto news and webinars. And also, we'll be posting the link to this webinar recording into our Telegram channel as well. So there are people who asked about whether there's a recording. The answer is yes. So with that, I'd like to wish everybody enjoy your weekend and have a blasted, fantastic, hot new year for your crypto wealth in 2021. And I'll see you at the next webinar. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.